If you've been browsing the Morrowind Nexus, you've probably noticed a few of the normal map texture packs for OpenMW. So, what is a normal map, and why would you use it? It gives the lighting in the game a lot more depth, and I'm hoping that after watching this video you might want to try out OpenMW if you haven't already. Normal mapping is a form of bump mapping used for faking the lighting of small details like dents and bumps in a texture to make the model look like it has a lot more detail than it actually does, with minimal performance cost. A normal map is created by the artist for every texture, and basically tells the game how light is supposed to act on its surface features, such as highlighting contours in a brick texture or ripples in a mud texture, depending on what angle the light is coming from in-game. When Morrowind released in 2002, it didn't support normal mapping as we know it today. Instead it supported traditional bump mapping, where you have to manually edit every model you want to bump map one by one. Every single one. Modern normal mapping is a kind of drag and drop process, and it looks a lot better than traditional bump mapping. Pretty much every game made in the last 15 years has used normal mapping, and nowadays when you go back to an old game like Morrowind, there's a noticeable lack of detail in its textures. Even HD retextures will have this effect because vanilla Morrowind just doesn't support modern normal mapping techniques. It's one of the reasons I think modern Morrowind looks a bit odd, kind of like this Ford Transit Supervan. The van stands out against the sports car engine, like how Morrowind's plain textures stand out against MGXE's shadows and fancy shaders. I'm not knocking MGXE though, the stuff they've done for the vanilla game is really impressive, though I wouldn't mind if their talents were put to use elsewhere. A cough! Now I'm not gonna lie and pretend I know diddly squat about making textures, because I don't, but I do know Mindtex 2 makes some pretty decent normal maps.
Oh my god! What's wrong with your face?
These head replacers are from Macom's Races Redone, and the hair replacers are from Mr. Magic's hair packs. They were made for vanilla Morrowind and don't have normal maps. This is what they look like in the vanilla engine. I decided to create normal maps for them myself in Mindtex just to show how much better they can look in OpenMW. This is what they look like with the normal maps. Now light realistically bounces off and around the skin, and facial features like the eyes and cheekbones are more pronounced. For race replacers especially, it makes them appear a lot more lifelike. If you're wondering where to start with the normal maps on the Nexus, I recommend checking out Lysol90's texture packs. He's mostly been doing architecture and has already done Imperial towns and forts, as well as Hlaalu towns and Vivec. For a general retexture, there's Vanilla Remastered or normal maps for Morrowind, the first of which upscales Morrowind's vanilla textures and applies normal maps to them, while the second uses Tiddy's Architecture of Vardenfell retexture as a base. Modding OpenMW.com has a helpful list of normal map mods for OpenMW, make sure to have a look at it. I want to show off this Bonemold armor replacer by Semkey because it's insanely high quality and is an example of the kind of content I'd love to see for OpenMW going forward. It's not just a retexture, it's a complete mesh replacer along with normal mapped custom textures. One of the major things holding Morrowind back visually is its 20-year-old meshes, and I always welcome quality mesh replacers, especially when they take advantage of OpenMW's normal map support. So, to finish, I want to say that I made this video because a couple years ago when I first started installing mods for OpenMW, I had no clue what a normal map was or what it did. It was only when I started playing around with them myself that I realized how much an impact it has on the game's visuals. I made this video to hopefully shed some light on the subject, in the hope that it would convince more people to use OpenMW and also to get more modders to normal map their mods. Even if you're a texture modder but you don't use OpenMW for whatever reason, you should do it anyway, because OpenMW is the future of Morrowind and Morrowind modding. If you've made a high quality texture pack, it's going to look a lot better in the OpenMW engine if you've created normal maps for it. And maybe 5 years down the line, when OpenMW has become the standard for playing Morrowind, people will be looking for normal map texture packs to download, and yours will be on top of the list. If nothing else, it gives your mod longevity. Just something to think about. Well anyway, thanks for watching. If you'd like me to make a video on something else OpenMW or Morrowind related, feel free to leave a comment.